Oh, who lived on an island in the Caribbean Sea. Fidel Castro, who's bearded and crazy and dead as can be. Fidel Castro. If you think communist nonsense is somewhat amiss, Fidel Castro, we're gonna send you to a re-education camp. Alright, how's everybody doing? My name is Ed, and this is the Spirit Snapshot. Our one review a week where we talk about something other than whiskey. And we've got something pretty cool tonight. It's Cuban rum out of the socialist paradise that is Cuba. For those of you who probably know, or don't know, most of you probably know, we've had an embargo with Cuba since, Kennedy was president? Jeez. At least since Kennedy was president. When did Fidel get to take over? 1964? Future Eddie, get on that. So basically, we haven't had access to Cuban rum in forever. And before I continue, yes, I said we were going to do fortified wines this week. I know, we said we were going to do that. I'm not doing it. I lied. Eddie is a liar sometimes. Because I was down at the Bastards Ball, and my man John Gunsel gave me 2 bottles of Cuban rum, and so I was like, well, we have to check this out, just to see what's going on here. We are going to get into some sherry next week. I promise. In fact, here's a little preview of what's coming up next week. So be excited for that. But yeah, so once the communists took over in Cuba, the American government was like, well, we can't have that. We can't have that communist country hanging out on our doorstep. So they made it illegal for us to bring in any Cuban products. Cuban government, seized the means of production and started producing all the rum. We already talked about Bacardi. You can check them out over here. They took off from the Cuban island, now based in Puerto Rico. But yeah, so we've got 2 today. So these are from Legendario, the legend. This is their Añejo Blanco. So this is about 2 years old. It's kind of a light amber color. You might not be able to tell. So they've got, Legendario makes a Carta Blanca, which is their pure white rum. This is their old white rum, Añejo Blanco. So about 2 years old. And then we've got the Ron Dorado, up to 5 years old. You can see that nice color. Probably got some caramel coloring in it. I've read that they do use some. Interesting thing about this one, bottled at 38%. Pretty common for Cuban rums, actually. To bottle at 38 rather than 40. Just tradition over there, I guess. And fun thing with Cuban rum is they use kind of like a Solera system, where they'll make the madre batch, the mother batch. They'll age that for a few years. Then they'll add new cane spirit to that batch, recask it for more aging. So these are both aged in American oak, but it's similar to the Solera system, so you don't know exactly how old everything in there is because there was new cane spirit added to the older cane spirit when it was recast. So let's get into this. Cuban rum is generally thought of as being a nicer, friendlier, dare I say, smoother style than say like Jamaican rum, which is really heavy on that bitter molasses. We talked a little bit about the different styles of rum in a previous video. I'll link that too. Oh yeah. I already kind of dig this one. The Añejo Blanco here, it's very sweet. Like, it's pretty sweet and approachable. It's got caramel, vanilla. It's really like burned caramel. What's the dessert they take the little torch to and oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. Future Eddie, put that in. Yeah, it smells burned though. It smells like burned caramel or burned vegetation almost. Like when you burn something out in the like in the countryside, you burn stuff sometimes. You burn, after you clear the field, you gotta burn it. Yeah, that and maybe like a touch of tobacco. So it's sweet, but there's more to it than you would think. There's more of those dark, kind of astringent notes than you would think. Yeah, pretty sweet, light on the taste. A little bit of, I would say, like mango, touch of that like bitterness, that just a touch of that bitter molasses on the end. Um, just a little bit of bitter molasses. These are done in column stills. All Cuban rum is done in column stills, as opposed to like where in Jamaica, where they might use a pot still and retain some more of that molasses flavor. So you're naturally going to get a lighter spirit. They usually distill up to either 75% or 95% for Cuban rum. Those are the two benchmarks that they distill up to. So I'm guessing this was probably taken up to 95%. I wouldn't be surprised. It's relatively light. It does retain a good amount of flavor though, and you certainly do get that barrel influence. Even for something like this, looks pretty young. 2 years is probably the max on this. It's probably a little younger even. All right, let's check out this Dorado, which I'm pretty sure is gold. Yeah, El Dorado. Okay, so yeah, similar to the white Legendario. It doesn't have as much of that burned caramel that I really liked though. This is much more wood influenced. Yeah, this smells like burned vegetation, burning tobacco. This is a little more sweet, a little more caramely, a little more vanilla. It doesn't have quite as much of that fire to it. It does have a nicer finish though. It still has a little touch of that bitter molasses. I don't know if they're using blackstrap or grade A or what they're using here, but it's got a touch of the bitterness on the finish, but it's mixing with more of that woody, almost charred oak kind of thing. I don't know if these are charred barrels or not, but that's what it reminds me of anyway. So yeah, I almost think I like the younger one. This one's very pleasant, very, very nice, but doesn't quite have the punch. So yeah, still has that little fruitiness, but it's not as out there. It's not as in your face. I don't know if that's maybe because they proofed it down a little. 2% probably didn't make a big difference. 40% versus 2%, 38%. I don't know. But yeah, neither of these is bad. Neither of these is bad at all. The Cubans like to say that they make the best rum because they have the best climate for growing cane sugar. I don't know if that's true. I mean, I guess probably. I mean, obviously a tropical climate's going to be better. That said, is Cuba that much better than the Dominican Republic or Haiti or Jamaica? I don't know. Maybe there's a botanist in the chat who can let us know. Me personally, I was super excited to try these. So thank you so much, John Gunsel. This is actually going to wrap up our rum segment. I promise. After this, we're done. I'm super glad I got to taste these. These are going to go straight to my ma because she loves Cuba. She was down in Cuba a couple of years ago. So we're going to send these along to her and she'll have fun with those. But yeah, I don't know why we still have that embargo. Honestly, considering that we're all allowed to sell our souls to the Chinese Communist Party. But yeah, anyway, this has been a look at Cuban rums. This was fun. Stay tuned. We're going to get into sherry next. And that's a little bit more whiskey related for you guys who are sick of me talking about rum. So until next time, you guys like, comment, subscribe, stay healthy, and stay rotten.